If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Spent a few minutes with Coach Jeff Bell, the head baseball coach over at Sylacauga High School. And Coach, we talked last week about the season as how it's unfolding, and it seemed like a long time since we talked. Game scheduled tonight.
That's right. Yeah, supposed to go up to Chelsea tonight. Another good 6A team. Teams that historically are pretty good. Pending weather. With this time of year, you never know if we're going to get it in or not. But we keep trying to grind through the schedule.
So a little bit from last Thursday's conversation through today, what's been going on?
Well, we're struggling a little bit. We're going through probably the toughest stretch we're going to go through this year. We had last weekend. We had Opelika, Wetumpka. Those are really good teams.
Mm-hmm. That's good baseball down in that area.
It is. They're really good teams. They've got tons of talent. They're well coached. And we're a little banged up right now. And I think based off of some of last year's success, we're not really sneaking up on anybody either. So we're getting a lot of people's best shot. And but we're starting to come through on the other side. We're starting to play better. We're starting to swing the bats better. We're starting to pitch better. Everything we're starting to do is getting better. And if we can eliminate some mistakes, we can play with these, with the teams on our schedule.
Pitching always a key, especially in the early part of the season, before the bats kind of catch up a little bit. Sometimes sore arms will pop up early in the spring.
Yes. It was one of the things that I was the most excited about going into the season is the potential that we had on the mound. And especially with young arms, if they get sore and they get tired, that becomes worrisome to me. And so we're trying to nurture some of the young arms along. And there's a difference between hurt and sore. Obviously, you can play through a sore arm, but it's hard to tell which is sore and which is hurt. So we're being really safe with a lot of guys. We got, Andrew Schmidt is on his way back. He actually threw to live hitters yesterday. He's recovering from UCL surgery. Cole Porch has a tender elbow. We're not really sure what's going on there. So we're taking it easy with him. And on down the line, we've got guys that we're having to limit their pitching. Because we're not really sure what's going on. So
is it Coach Bell, the particular pitches that they throw, or is it their style, or a combination?
I'll tell you what I think it is that there's a difference between we go out and we're in line and we're throwing and we're long toss and stuff like that, and now you're on the mound and you're facing the hitter. That's a whole different intensity. And there's a lot more intent with each pitch you throw when you're on a mound, and I think it's more stressful on the arm. And you have the routine where you throw, then you ice, then you rehab, then you long toss, then you bullpen, and then you're back out there. And it takes time, especially for younger guys, to get into that routine where they basically train their arm, and that's what they do every day. I'll tell you one other thing that I think has a lot to do with it is we don't have a pitching staff. We've got guys that'll pitch today, but he'll play shortstop tomorrow, left field the next day, bullpen the next day, and he's back to pitching. So he's got, basically they're always throwing, and it's really hard to kind of manage how much time they get on the mound, how much time they play on defense. Like there's days in practice where we got guys that if they've pitched, they won't throw at all. And it gets tough to manage that and get that arm conditioned.
You talked about earlier about the bats beginning to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, well, we'll have days where we swing it really well, especially in practice. But we have really, really, really struggled this year with the situational hitting, where, we'll have 6 or 7 hits a game, but it's never when we've got runners at second and third and one out. It's when we're down 4-0 in the seventh, it's easy to crank out a hit or two.
Yeah.
So the focus this week has been to stress, put it in play. High school players, they're going to make mistakes. So put it in play and at least give yourself a chance. We've really struggled with putting the ball in play, in what I would call meaningful at bats, when there's runners on base and when the game's still on the line. We had a really good day. I don't remember what time it was when we left last night, but I don't like doing this. Just speaking from when I played, when we set up a pitching machine and we had it up like 87, 88 miles an hour, and it was just shooting balls at them. And it's really hard to time that up, then that's the reason I didn't like it when I played. But that, to me, and I told him, it makes you do two things. When a ball just being shot at you out of a cannon, it trains you to simplify your swing. It trains you to basically focus all your attention just on the ball and just making contact. And that's what we did for 4 hours yesterday. And we got better, and we got better, and we got better, and we got better. So that I was really discouraged after the Ben Russell game. And when I left last night, I feel really good about the direction we're going in.
Talk about the Ben Russell game, which was played earlier this week.
You know what? Like I said earlier, we're trying to nurture young pitchers along. And he went 3 innings. Grant Walker went 3 innings. Actually threw the ball pretty well. But we started the game really slow. We gave up 4 in the first inning. You have a hit batter, a walk, then we misplay a ball in the outfield, misplay a ball in the infield, which
kind of self-destruct right there.
We did right off the bat, and it's one of those things where if any of those things are isolated events, no problem. Or if we're swinging the bats better than scoring runs, it's no problem. But you combine all those things where we're making mistakes at crucial times, and then not getting hits at crucial times. We didn't play terrible. We had one bad inning. He gave up 4 runs in the first inning, and that was the final, 4-0. We couldn't push anything across. Now, and I'll say this, to give them credit, their guy on the mound was really good. Coach Brooks is his son, and he's polished. He was good. He had command of everything he threw. I mean, he went 2 innings without throwing a ball. He went strike for 2 innings. So, you give a tip of the cap to them, but also, you realize we've got things we got to fix too.
How much, especially among the younger guys, how much of it is mental at this stage?
I think some of it is. And that's what I keep preaching to them. We need something to go right. We need a little bit of success here just to sort of break the dam and get get it turned around. Some of it, I think, and there's not a lot. Really, the youth is on the mound. Where, maybe at the JV level, you can overcome some of that stuff. If you've got a good arm, you can overcome misplacing some pitches. Or I can't locate a curveball today, so I'll just throw fastballs by everybody. Well, it's different when you're playing at the varsity level and you're playing 6A and 7A teams every day. Who, if a 6A team and a 7A team can eliminate a pitch, like if they figure out, and it's easy to figure out really if you pay attention to the game. All right, I can't locate a curveball today, and they just sit back on the fastballs, and all they have to do is sit on one pitch. Those teams are going to hit them, especially if they're not located.
Wow. Coach Jeff Bell, the head baseball coach over at Sylacauga High School. Game scheduled tonight against Chelsea, and inclement weather may play a role in whether that game is played or not. What's up next after Chelsea?
We are. Who do we have? Wow,
when do we start area play?
It'll be after spring break,
Okay.
1st of April.
And that's a good thing, I guess.
It is. It's really good for us right now because, like I said, we're starting to kind of figure things out. And that's really one of the benefits of being in a 3-team. There's some 5 5-team areas that are starting area games this week or last week. We're with only having to play 2 area teams. We're getting to start that later in the season, so we can find out, and put pieces of the puzzle together. Because I've shuffled the lineup, multiple times to try to find out who fits where, and that's an ongoing process too. So starting area as late as we started, that's going to help us down the road.
Has leadership stepped forward so far this year?
It has. Zach Dews is doing a good job. I hear them talk, and sometimes I wonder if they know that I can hear things they say. So on these games where we've struggled, before we load the bus back up to come back home, he'll keep the team, say, hey, nobody leave yet. And they'll sort of stay together. And and as I'm walking off, I don't hear what the content of that conversation is, but I know it's being had. Anderson, Wyckoff, these guys lead by example. They're the first ones at practice every day. They're the ones that set the field up. Brady Davis does a really good job of that. We do a really good job of leading by example. I wish it was more vocal sometimes, but some people aren't comfortable with basically being the boss. But they have no problem with it. They show up, they do their job, they do it without a complaint. They just show up and they work and they go home. So it's hard to gripe about that, and they do a really good job of that.
Home park here in Sylacauga, of course, is a great ally for Sylacauga High School, and you like to fill the stands, and Sylacauga got a great following for baseball, and winning seems to feed that energy too.
Yes, yeah, and it is one of the things that I really enjoy the most about being here. And I sort of test a theory that I've thought for years, is that if you're in a community that wins at everything, that wins across the board, you're going to run into teams, from time to time that are more talented than you, that they're a better team than you, but because you just win at everything, as our basketball team does, our football team does, every sport we have does, that our kids know, hey, we're Sylacauga, we win, and
kind of expected, right?
It is expected. it is expected, and I think that's a lot of the reason that people come out. They want to see people win. They want to see the kids win, and if that's historically what you do, our kids know that. They know they're expected to win. And sure enough, it comes to it where you're down in a game or you're playing somebody that's better than you, and you find a way to win. And that's our kids have that in them. They, we're just waiting for the ball to bounce the right way right now.
How can people find out more about Sylacauga baseball?
The best way is our booster club has a Facebook page, and it makes my life easy. If like on days like today, if we have a rain out, normally there would be 10 different phone calls I'd have to make, and most of the time I'm going to forget somebody, whether it's a trainer or a newspaper or an umpire or a bus driver or whoever it is. There's so many people that
as long as you don't forget TV.
Yeah, I'll always keep you in mind.
But the social media is so involved now that you can find out a lot about Aggie baseball without knocking on your door.
Yes, that's it. I don't know who invented Google, but I'm sure they don't work for a living anymore. You type in Sylacauga baseball in a search engine, or you go to Twitter, or you can go to Facebook. Our Facebook page has all the updated information. When we get rained out, or if we change a game date or something like that, I make one phone call and I say, hey, can you get this out to everybody? And poof, it happens. So Facebook's the way to go.
All right. Scheduled game tonight for Sylacauga over at Chelsea, over in Shelby County. And we'll join Coach Bell again next Thursday here on Daybreak. Coach, always good to see you.
Yes, sir. Enjoy.
More Daybreak right after this.